Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to pop on here to do a quick review of Crazy Rich Asians movie. I finally got to see it last night and I just wanted to pop on here quickly and just give you a little bit of my thoughts of what I thought in regards to the movie, with the characters, in correlation with the audiobook or the book. I read the audiobook via Audible and I absolutely fell in love with it. I accidentally came across this book one night when I was on a flight back from Rhode Island, and I saw the girl sitting next to me reading it. So I was kind of like glimpsing over a little bit and I saw that it was pretty awesome. So right after, I actually got the book and I read it really quickly, and I've also read number 2 and number 3 from Kwan, and I wish he writes more books. He writes in such a nice format where it's very interesting, it's very lighthearted, it's very fluid, and you kind of stay in tune and in touch with the characters, and I really enjoyed all 3 of the books, and I would highly recommend the books or the audiobooks. If you are like me, who's always crazy busy running around or driving all the time, I highly recommend getting the Audible app. It's about $14.95 a month. You get 1 free book with that subscription, and you're always welcome to pick whatever book you like to use. So this is not by any means sponsored by them, it's just I really do love the service and I've been using it for quite a while now. So I'll leave a link to audible.com down below for you to get Crazy Rich Asian as well. So as far as the correlation with the book versus the movie, I feel like about maybe 40 to 30% was cut out from the movie. Some of the little pieces, and I don't want to ruin the movie or the book for you, but some of the pieces that I was kind of a little bit more excited to see more of the drama that happened in the book was removed to kind of speed things up. It was a 2-hour movie, but in general, the characters were amazing. They really fit the description of what Kwan had written initially in the book. It was really nice to see your kind of thought of what a character looked like and what their identity was come to life. So I just wanted to kind of review some of the characters with you and give you my thoughts on how they did. To start, we have Rachel, the main character. She was awesome. I just have some of the photos of the characters up here so I can kind of remember which one was which. Rachel, she's also in a couple other American television shows that are pretty awesome. I think Fresh Off the Boat is one of them. She's such a funny character. She really fit Rachel Chu. Her real name is Constance Wu. She really fit the character of Rachel. Kind of really smart, outgoing, but also a little bit on the kind of rebellious and very opinionated American side of the woman. So I really liked her character. Then we have Picklin, who by far is probably my second favorite character, and we'll get to the first in a little bit. My second favorite character, Picklin, oh my gosh, she's so funny. I don't know how she has that format of lingo. I guess when she was living in New York, she picked it up, but she was so funny to watch. She really brought that kind of attitude piece into the movie, and I really enjoyed watching that. So she was pretty awesome as well. Araminta Lee, Colin's wife, I was a little bit let down by the character. I thought she would have had a little bit more kind of lines or a few more kind of action pieces within the film, but her part seemed to be a little bit downplayed, and I was kind of bummed out about that. Then we have Charlie Wu, and all of this, kind of the names and the photos are from IMDb. So Charlie Wu makes a slight, maybe 2-second appearance at the very end of the film, just to kind of hint at that there's potentially going to be a second and third film to kind of tie the entire series together. So that was really exciting, because if you stick around or you watch the movie, make sure you stick around to the last couple seconds or the last few minutes of it after they do credit rolls. They do show Charlie, and that gets very exciting. So I'm really excited to see the second film. Amanda was an absolute biatch. So she really played that character really, really well. And then some of the more kind of gruesome theme within the book in regards to the conversation that she has with Rachel was taken out for good reason. I mean, nobody really needs to sit there, and it's a family film, watch like a raunchy piece of the book, but she was pretty awesome too, very convincing as to what it was, and Rachel got really nice and emotional. The one thing is that within the book, from what I recall, I may be wrong, but what I recall was during the Araminta's bachelorette party on her mother's beautiful retreat island, they put the fish in her bag, not a huge fish on the bed, is from what I remember. So that was a bit different, because if you've read the book, you could kind of find these little things. You're like, that's not really what happened. So you guys be playing me. Then we have Colin Coop. Colin was awesome. He was really on point with the character in the book. It was really nice to see his relationship with, what was his name? With Nick. Colin's relationship with Nick really was very nice to see, because you could kind of see the brotherly bond that they have. But I wish they had touched a little bit on Colin's depression piece, because I know in the book he has a tendency to get into these very deep depression pieces, and they kind of totally glazed over that. It might have been a nice point to add on, considering what our world is going through now, so that might have been a little bit relatable. Bernard Ty, the douche of them all. His character was perfect. From start to finish, his character was really on point with what the book was noting. And then Picklin's dad, wow. In the book, he wasn't as funny or outspoken, but within the movie, they really gave him a good kind of list of lines and some really good character roles to follow. He was so funny to watch. Picklin's mom, too, was on point, and then her brother was really kind of out there, the creepy guy taking photos all the time of her. That was super funny. Oliver was also a really awesome character to see, very relatable to what it was in the book, so I'm hoping to see a little bit more of him coming up in book 2 or in the movie 2 and 3. Eleanor, damn, mama got game. She was rough. Like, you could feel Rachel's pain when they were having some of the conversation in regards to Rachel not being enough for Nick, so that was really nice to see. And then towards the end, there's a bit of a twist, and pay attention to the rings. That was a really nice twist that they kind of changed within the book into the movie. I really like that piece of it. Now, my number one favorite character, who I was just like, I love you, was Astrid. Or her real name is Gemma Chan. She had such a beautiful allure to her. When you see her walking down the kind of the shop plaza into the entry of the jeweler store, oh my goodness, you absolutely fall in love with her, and you really get to see that she is really trying to be Astrid, and she really embodies that character. And during some of the more, I guess, tougher scenes emotionally, she was really on point, and it was beautiful to watch her go through that transition and see that heartbreak. But that she was really on point with all of that. Alistair, he didn't make too many appearances. He was there. Eddie, wow. I imagined Eddie to be a little bit older than what was in the film, but Eddie, Fiona, and their 3 kids, wow, really on point as to what the character was in the book. Complete a-hole, complete douchebag. But he was wonderful to see, because you're like, oh, I really do hate you. You're such an asshole to everyone. He really plays that character very, very well. Now for Nick. Nick, his British accent, his demeanor, his clothing style that they chose for him in the film as well as in the book was perfection. He really brought the book to life in his character role, and I really appreciated watching his and Rachel's relationship kind of develop. The one thing I will note is that in the book there is a little bit more of a longer process before their relationship begins. In the movie, it seems like it starts from year 1 of them dating. And then they're about to kind of go to Singapore to meet the family and join Colin's wedding. So I wish that transition, their relationship, was a little bit more kind of detailed and in depth, and we got to see a little bit more of the development of that happening. Then Amma, the granny, she was incredible. She really embodied that. I imagine the character to have been a little bit more kind of fragile and a little bit older, but what I kind of got, the vibe I was kind of getting from her, and there wasn't too many kind of lines or instances where grandma was introduced or used within the movie. I wish there was a little bit more of her and a little bit more relationship with her, so we could really see the love that she has for Nick. But I will say, from watching Amma's first appearance on screen, she almost kind of was very much so in line with Princess Diaries' grandma. I forget the actress's name, but I will just pop it in here. Very much so, it seems like she was kind of channeling her inner queen, and she was very well played. She was doing such an incredible role, and she was really, you could tell the respect that the family had for her, and it was very in line with what the book was noting, so I really appreciated that. And then the aunties and the uncles. exactly as the book defined. They didn't get into too much detail in regards to how bad things were or what they really did and how they were constantly pushing Eleanor to find out more about Nick and Rachel before they kind of got to Singapore. But overall, they were pretty on point with what the book was saying. So when it comes to some of the more important pieces, towards the end of the film, in correlation to the book, there's a scene where the mom and or Eleanor and Nick are no longer talking because he decides to kind of move back to New York. I'll leave it at that. And she flies in with a helicopter and destroys a bunch of stuff during an event that Nick and Rachel are having. So they kind of took that piece out and put in a little bit of something else towards the end that was very different. Kind of still in the same lines of what really happens in the book, but it was different enough where if you've read the book and you're really passionate about Crazy Rich Asians, you would have caught on to it and thought, okay, that's a little bit different. I wish it was the actual thing that initially happens in the book. But overall, the characters, I love the characters. I really hope if they make movie number 2 and number 3, which I'm almost 100% certain they will, that they keep the same characters and it doesn't go from one person to another and totally confuses the audience. I'm really keeping my fingers crossed for that, because otherwise it will really throw off the pattern of what's happening. And then as far as the movie goes, what would I rate it? If I had the privilege to rate this film, I think I would call it probably an 8.5 out of 10. Why? Because there were a lot of key important pieces that were eliminated from the movie in regards to the book. I wish there were a little bit more snippets of those things. For example, Rachel finding out about her dad and some of that stuff, or how Amma decides not to give her approval for Nick and Rachel to kind of move forward with their relationship. I wish there was a little bit more of that in the movie, but they did take it out. I do understand for budgeting reasons probably, or for time constraints. Maybe there were scenes that were filmed but they just didn't make the cut. And then as far as kind of within the book, the way Kevin Kwan kind of defines the wealth of these people and the wealth that was translated on film was a little bit lackluster, just because, yeah, it was beautiful and they had all these nice things, but it just didn't hit the spot or hit the nail on the head kind of when it comes to money. That might be a budgeting situation or budgeting issue, but I really, or maybe they're waiting it out to see how this film does, so whenever movie number 2 and 3 comes out, they're a little bit more prepared and they can kind of throw a little bit more money into the production of it. But overall, incredible. I highly recommend you go see it. If you're thinking, oh, maybe I should read the book first before seeing the movie, there's enough differences that you can do both at different times. So if you read the book first, you will notice the differences in the movie. If you see the movie first and then read the book, you will be able to kind of have the same gist of it, but there's going to be more pieces within it. I would always recommend reading the book first, because the book is always different in comparison to the movie. But start with the book, get to the movie, and then, like I noted, I will link audible.com down below. Just click on the link, you get 1 free book. For 30 days, you get a free trial. It's super awesome. I freaking love it. Once again, it's not sponsored by any means. I pay for it every single month for myself. And every so often for members, they'll have like a $4.95 type of deal for 3 months. So that's something you could look forward to as well. And if you don't like the audiobook, just give them a call and say, hey, I want to cancel my service, and they'll cancel it, no questions, no hassle whatsoever. So it's a really awesome service. But yeah, that is it. Those are my thoughts on Crazy Rich Asian. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you've seen the movie, let me know what your thoughts are down below. I'm kind of curious to see what other thoughts you guys have in regards to the movie that might be different from mine. Hopefully you guys all kind of agree with what I'm saying, and it does kind of correlate the same in regards to the book and the movie. Thank you guys for watching. Bye!